Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Jen and Sharon, where I am busting up because the minute I logged on, I said to Sharon, "Are you like trying to solve a serial murder? What is going on behind you?" It's like the end of The Usual Suspects.
The truth comes out. So this is an angle of my office that you can't normally see, but the sun is actually shining down this morning.
It is.
Right in my face, and I had all this glare, and I'm like, I need to adjust, I need to move, and I don't know.
Sharon. Your room rater is going down. I think. Look at what is that pile behind you? Is that the to be read pile?
I'm taking it away from you.
No, I want to see it. No, I want to see the book.
I don't even know what it is. We talked about decluttering last week. I haven't decluttered the office yet.
Are those overdue library books?
No, some of them are parenting books. That's my professional reading for your teen job, Jen.
Oh, I see.
Or for articles that I write in my freelance aspect. Well, good morning, everybody. We're not actually ripping apart my office this morning.
Wait, but one more thing, just one more thing. All you need those little, you need some thumbtacks and thread that you can put on the bulletin board behind you that connects all the dots. And then I feel like I'm on an episode of Homeland.
I know exactly what you're saying. I need a whiteboard too, where we write down all the pertinent info too.
The cold cases that you've solved. Yeah, I like it. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done ripping on Sharon. Behind me, by the way, is a puzzle. Is making me cry.
Aww.
It's so hard. I thought it was going to be fun and easy. Let me just show it to you. This looks like. Tell me, this just doesn't look difficult, doesn't it?
No, there's a lot of different colors. You would think you could separate by color, and it's only 500, Jen. What kind of amateur hour is this?
I know. I thought this was going to be a walk in the park. This is from my dear friend Tanya, who I love to bits, and she gave me Christmas presents that were all themed around happy hour, and that's what this puzzle is. It's happy hour.
What if it's a trick puzzle? Where the picture doesn't match the puzzle inside. Like you give people those trick candles and they try to blow them out and they don't go out. That would be really mean.
Okay, what? You just gave us unwittingly the perfect segue into actually talking about something parenting related. I know. Occasionally we stumble across
Take us there, Jen.
The acorn once in a while. What the whole idea of it's maybe not always what it seems. Like, is it a trick? Whatever's on the outside isn't like what it's going to be on the inside. And Sharon and I were talking about what are some of the things that are different about raising teens than you expected, good, bad, or just different. You may have had certain expectations from watching Saved by the Bell, or whatever your source.
Or our own teenage years.
Or your own teenage years that made you think, this is what I think it's going to be like, and I'm prepared and I'm ready, and then it maybe went in a different direction. So do you want to start? Do you have anything to share with the class today, Sarah?
Well, I'll start with one that I know a lot of people have talked about, and I still haven't quite figured it out. Why don't teenagers want to drive?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, I expected that it would be like when we were growing up, and it was, you couldn't wait to drive. Most people, I'm sure it was a little different for some people, or people who lived in a big city. But it was such a rite of passage, so exciting. Go test for your license the first possible day.
Yep.
What's going on? Why? I mean, my kid's learning to drive, and but a lot of kids aren't, and my kid's not as eager as I would expect. It's not, and he actually said to me, none of my friends are driving, and some of them are 16. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. What do you think?
That's funny. So I have a couple of colleagues in an office where I work a few days a week who just were talking about this yesterday. They're kind of having like a race to see which of their kids is finally going to get their license first. They've both been eligible for a while. They both had all their pieces are completed. It's like all but dissertation. They're all but driver's test. That's the last thing they have to do is to go take the driver's test. And in one case, in one of these two cases, it's a little bit the mom who's pulling the reins back a little bit because she's a little bit worried, like when he gets that license, maybe that's the last I'm ever going to see him. he's out the door. He's going to be off with friends. I'm never going to see him again. And she said to me, I don't even know what's in it for me. Why do I want him to get this? And I said, Erica, it's so your kid can go to the grocery store for you. I mean, there are definitely or to take that younger sibling to volleyball practice, whatever it is, that you can get a little bit of your life back, even if it means giving up your own wheels to do it. I think some of it can be parent related. Like if the parents aren't super enthused and aren't pushing equally along the way, it sort of just falls between them. Like, whenever you feel like it, and I don't really feel like it, so it just doesn't happen.
Right.
So, and also I think in my kid's case, in every friend group, it seems like there's one friend who drives. And that friend does all the driving and nobody else has to bother. So why do I want to go through the pain of going to get my driver's license when Lizzie's going to take me to the mall? It doesn't matter. Oh, Monica, she feels us on this.
And I think it's interesting that you say she's anxious too, because I get that. And I actually think this is the way I try to spin it. I'm like, yes, it's good to be worried about this. It's a dangerous thing. I would be worried if you weren't worried. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then I see the anxiety.
A large machine. Yes, it's a heavy, large machine that can hurt people.
Right.
You have to be careful. Right.
But I also, once I see that anxiety pop up about something, it kind of kicks me in the other direction. I'm like, okay, now we're doing this, because we're not going to be, if it's that you're afraid of this thing, then we're doing it.
Got it.
Because we're not going to be paralyzed by whatever the thing is.
Like it.
So
maybe a little bit of reverse psychology.
I don't know.
Required on this topic. I don't know. It is a bit of a mystery to me, and it does seem to be more or less universal. Like I do feel that kids who are coming into the age of driving now versus maybe 20 years ago just seem a little less excited about getting a license. Maybe it's because there's no place to go because of COVID right now too. Like it's just not really that fun. Where are you going to go?
It's true.
So,
well, thank you, Monica, for sharing that. We love it when you tell us how you're feeling too, and give your thoughts. So keep doing it.
And make sure you tell us what you think about Sharon's new office setup. You're perfectly welcome to wait, or my lackluster puzzling skills, and you're welcome to comment on that as well. So here's something that surprised me a little bit. I thought I was prepared for this topic to come up, and it didn't come up that much, which was dating. I thought there was going to be a lot more talk about who likes who and who has a crush on somebody and who's dating and where do they, what does that mean that they're dating? And very little of that has come up even in my kids, tween, teen, and now young adult years. It's sort of like driving. I think they're just not as interested. And it's maybe that's not universal. That might not be. That just could be in my case. But I feel like I've heard that from other people too, that maybe there's a delayed onset of some of these more adult type behaviors for whatever reason. So I'm curious to know if other people have experienced.
You don't think it's that they're just not talking to you about their crushes and things?
Well, I mean, that's probably part of it.
I'm sure your kids tell you everything, Jen.
Oh,
no,
I don't know. But no, really, I don't. I mean, I thought I would hear more about other people even.
Okay. I do hear some of that. I do hear some of that. Yeah, okay. There's definitely some going on. So I don't know if that's just, the luck of the draw with the friend circles that are around, but there's definitely some dating going on in the vicinity of my teenagers.
Okay, well, so I'm curious to know then what does dating entail these days? Again, in an age where you can't go anywhere or do much of anything.
I think it's pretty tricky, because I think a lot of, they're young and the pandemic's been going on so long. A lot of this started during the pandemic. So I think there's like some expansions of bubbles. And, now that most teenagers are vaccinated, I think there was a lot of loosening of get together rules. And, I think it's still, let's go for ice cream and let's hang out. I don't know.
Maybe a lot of it is happening online too. Like, you're just hanging out more one-on-one with that other person. Like you're
for sure. Yeah. I think texting back and forth with somebody on the regular, or snapping back and forth with particular person is an on ramp, but
right. Hopefully we're keeping it clean. But
yeah.
So hard to go down that rabbit hole. So okay, what's another thing was a surprise?
Well, this is not specifically about my family, but about what I see in all the teenagers and families in my orbit, and
This is a lot.
I feel like the worry used to be, or we thought it was going to be, teenagers acting up and acting out, going out and doing crazy things, or just taking risk-taking behaviors that we didn't want them to take. What risky business?
Yeah.
But it feels like the reality, I think that's still going on, but it feels like the reality to me now is that parents are much more worried about the kids' internal mental health.
Yeah. No, I think that's
we see a lot more worries about anxiety, depression, eating disorders, all the things, like, instead of, I don't know why this is happening, or if other people see this too, but it seems like instead of, pushing all this anxiety or whatever out into the world and doing stuff, the kids are like, taking it on for themselves. And I know it's a big worry for parents, because we may not understand it, or it may not relate to the way we remember being teenagers, or, even if your kid is doing fine, maybe that their friends or peers are struggling. And it just makes for a different dynamic than we were used to.
Absolutely. And I will say, we all know that this has been completely exacerbated by the pandemic, but this pre-existed the pandemic. This was something that we were seeing and talking about and writing about at Your Teen.
Yep.
Since I've joined the staff, it's been, half a dozen years probably that we've been, as parents, have been really collectively talking about this, shining a light on it. And it's great that we're talking about it. Some of it is like, was it always there and we weren't addressing it? But I think most of the experts will agree there has been an uptick in anxiety among teenagers, young adults, and I'm not sure we understand all the root causes of it. We can't blame it all on social media as much as we might like to, but that is definitely something. I don't think that was in the parenting handbook that we all got. You got one, right? Did you get a parenting handbook?
This is it, Jen. This is it. Share. But anyway,
plays it. I'm writing my own handbook while I'm.
But if anyone else is out there feeling like, what's going on? Why are kids today having all these issues? We see it too. Where there's a lot of other families and kids going through the same thing. It may not just be your kid. So don't feel like you're by yourself if you're feeling this question.
And that's why we love, one of the perks that Sharon and I love about our job is we get to talk to people who do this for a living, who help us work through these things, and then we write articles about it. So if you don't get the Your Teen newsletter, go right now. I mean, not right now, wait till you're done having coffee with us. Go over to the Your Teen website, yourteenmag.com, and there's a sign up place to go get our website or to get our newsletter, because every week there's something in there that I read from one of our experts that is kind of life changing. So make sure you've been hopping on that. Okay, so I have one last thing to wrap up with, which is it's a much sillier, more lighthearted thing. That was an expectation versus reality, which is, I thought my kids were gonna love watching classic movies with me, and it just isn't happening. Sharon, they don't want to watch old. They don't want to watch any movies really with me.
Interesting.
They're not interested in movies that much. So I thought we would be sitting on the couch together watching movies. They'll watch other things with me, like they'll watch a little bit of British Baking Show or some PBS mystery that I rooked them into watching. But they don't want to watch old classic movies. I remember going to see Lawrence of Arabia with my dad as a teenager, and it felt like such a rite of passage that I was going to see a grown-up movie with my dad, just the two of us.
Is that one? Like 3 hours?
It's a really long movie.
Yeah.
And at intermission, my dad stood up and said, well, I think I've seen enough. Let's go home. And I was like, wait, but
intermission.
I've still never seen the other half of Lawrence of Arabia.
Maybe it's just that you have more patience for long movies than anyone in your orbit. Maybe your children take after their grandfather.
Could be. I never thought about that. I'm gonna have to do a deeper dive on that one. How about you?
I have one light one, and it's actually a positive. I didn't anticipate like how much I would value my kids' opinion about things. Like I actually ask them for advice sometimes. You know, it may be something, it's usually pretty minor. Like, what do you think of this outfit? Or, you know, what do you advise? You know, I have this dilemma with this other person. What do you think of that? And they actually have really wise advice sometimes. So
that's wonderful. And I agree. I've experienced that as well. And then nothing feels better than when your team validates your outfit or your new haircut or something, and they're like, "Oh, that looks nice." I'm like, "Oh, really? You like it? Oh, that's great." I mean, that does feel good.
I know I have one who sometimes wants to borrow my clothes, and I think that that's a compliment.
Definitely.
Hey,
so
Jody.
Hi,
Thanks
Jody.
for joining us. No interest in even new movies, Netflix series, or Disney Plus only. They don't have the attention span or patience.
Okay, but explain to me why you can't watch a 2-hour movie, but you can watch 10 episodes of 90 Day Fiance back to back, which is way more time than that.
Maybe there's like an exit ramp. You can escape if you need to.
There's no long story arc.
I don't know the answer to this. I'm just making things up.
Yeah, okay. So, that's valid. It's probably, the answer is probably in one of those books behind you if you when the gig goes out. So,
well, we can get you the answer. You know what? That reminds me, when we're talking about expert advice, we always forget to tell you what's coming next. And oh wait, tomorrow I'm doing the Thursday interview. I'm going to be
even better. You actually know what it is.
This must be why I'm remembering. Oh, Jody, we can't stay awake either. That's the problem too. They're ready to start a movie. If they are ready to start a movie, it's like 10:30. I'm like, hey, I'm winding things down for the night.
That's absolutely the case.
But anyway, I'm supposed to remind you that we are live every day at 10:30 pretty much on weekdays at your team. We always have something good going on.
Not both of us, but
no. We, the staff at your team. But tomorrow I'm doing the expert interview. We have Phyllis Fagel, who's fantastic. I know. She is a school counselor. She's the author of the book Middle School Matters, and we're going to be talking all about middle school friendships and the ups and downs. Oh, I see Kitty. I see Robbie.
He's going to go help me with that puzzle.
So join us tomorrow at 10:30. And if you have questions about middle school friendships, you can just can drop them here, or you can send them to editor@yourteenmag.com and say questions about middle school.
You know what? I think I just want to put another plug in for Phyllis because she's so fabulous. When we were talking about anxiety being on the rise and why is that, that's a great question. If you can get Phyllis talking about that, I think she has some ideas and definitely feedback because she works with those kids every day as a middle school, as a counselor, and she might have some insight on that. So that I have to tune in.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see everybody tomorrow. And if not, we'll see you next Wednesday back here.
We have one more comment in here from, one from Monica and one from Jess.
Oh my gosh. Cobra Kai. Is that karate? I don't even know what that is.
That is it's the follow-up to Karate Kid, I think, or maybe prequel. I don't know.
What is it, like Karate Kid grown up and has a kid now, or?
I don't really know. I know it's popular and people like it.
All right. Well, I should ask my kids if they know what it is and if they're interested in it. So it sounds like, thank you, Monica. We're always looking for stuff to watch with our kids too. And Jessica says a movie is more of a commitment than a show. A show you can stop at any episode, but a movie you have to be sure you're watching the whole time. AKA, you might miss something if you're looking at your phone too.
Absolutely. And also,
so I was right, Jen. Can we just point out for a second that I was right? I said that episodes that's an exit ramp every time an episode stops.
Yeah, but they don't exit. It's like
I know.
That you can't.
But they could. They could exit.
Yeah, it's a commitment issue.
Oh, Lorraine has something for us too.
Lorraine. What does Lorraine say?
Oh, that's number one. We have to be kind always. And I think I'm going to ask Phyllis about that too, because sometimes it's our kid. We don't think they're being kind, right? Or sometimes it's that someone else isn't being kind. We're going to talk about all the things tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really hard. Sometimes they're on the giving end and sometimes they're on the receiving end of that.
Oh, if we can get our kid to be the one who's welcoming the new person, then we're succeeding. And
that is a gold star parenting moment when you find out your kid is the one who is extending to another anxious kid, that is like, you can feel really good about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's hope for that.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to let you guys go.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. And we'll be back next week with more nonsense to talk about in the parenting realm. If you want us to talk about something, let us know. Drop it in the comments.
Yeah. Thank you for all your likes and comments. They help us know that we're not talking to ourselves because we want to connect with you guys. So bye, everyone. And we'll see you soon.
Week. We'll see you next time.